The topic of today's session is a doubly linked list in a C sharp. In today's session, will help you to understand what is doubly linked list. Moving ahead, we are going to learn how to implement a doubly linked list in a C sharp, how to use a doubly linked list in a C sharp, what are the advantages and disadvantages of using a doubly linked list with the C sharp. Before covering what is doubly linked list, first we need to understand what is linked list in a C sharp. So linked list is a linear data structure in which each element are stored in a non-continuous location but in a linear fashion. So each data is stored in a non-continuous location and but the in way the data are stored, that is a linear fashion. If you can see in this image, each node are connected to each other and each node contains two parts. First is a data part and another is a next part. Next part is nothing but we are storing the address or memory location of a next node in a next part. So that is the one pointer which we have with the each node so that we can connect to each node with each other in a linear fashion. Now, what is the difference between a singly linked list and the doubly linked list? How it differs with the doubly linked list? So, a doubly linked list is a type of data structure that stores the data in a linear fashion. Similarly to the singly linked list, doubly linked list is also storing a data in a linear fashion. But unlike a singly linked list, a doubly linked list stores two references, that is a previous node address as well as the next node address, which allow it for efficient traverse of either of the direction, so that you if you implement a doubly linked list, you can traverse in both the direction. You can go backward also and you can go forward also. So this type of data structure, that is doubly linked list, is often used to implement a queue, stack and other type of data structure. If you can see in this image, this is a doubly linked list where each node contains three parts. First is the previous node address, middle one is the data part which you want to store in a singly linked list, and last one is the next part where you are storing the address of a next node. So each node in a doubly linked list is connected to the previous node by the extra pointer along with the next pointer and the data. Unlike a singly linked list is having only two parts. One is a data and another is a next. But in a singly linked list, you have an option of moving backward also by using a previous pointer. Now, how to implement a doubly linked list in a C sharp? So to implement a doubly linked list in a C sharp, first you need to include a system.collection.generic namespace, as it is a generic type of collection in a C sharp. Since each node in a list points to the next node and the previous node, so it is called as a doubly linked list. Depending on the need of your program, the collection can grow dynamically. Additionally, it allows you to insert and remove the element quickly in a C sharp. If you implement a doubly linked list in a C sharp, you can add a node dynamically and you can remove the node dynamically as well. So implementing a doubly linked list in a C sharp is relatively a straightforward process. You need to be create a one node class with all three part of each node, that previous node address, next node address and the data part. The node class also contains the data field for storing the data associated with the node. In order to create a doubly linked list, the node class must instantiated and linked together in a linear fashion. If you remember the image of a doubly linked list where each node is connected to each other in a linear fashion, so to perform this linear fashion linking, you need to be instantiated each node of a node class. Now, how to implement it practically in a C sharp language? So, for that, I am creating one console application in Visual Studio 2019. I am creating one new application. So, file, new project, and I am adding one new console application with the C sharp language. Okay, once you have created this console application, you are having such line of code in a console application. I'm changing just to view it more properly in a light shade. Okay, so first, as we have discussed, we need to be create a one class, named it as a node, which having a three member variables. That first is a node, the type of data you want to store in a doubly linked list, and then you need to be store the address of a next node as well as the previous node. So public node next, public node previous, these are the two references, and one is a data part. Also, I need to be create a class for the implementation of linked list. So I'm giving a name as a linked list to the class, and in which first I need to be create a first node, and I'm giving a name it as a head node. And also one constructor we need to be create to instantiated linked list. So public linked list, this is a one constructor of a linked list cast. Then I am assigning a null in a head part, as we do not created any node yet. We have just created a linked list. Now I am going to create a node in a main function. By first I need to be create a linked list object. So linked list, my list is equal to new linked list. This is the object of a linked list cast. And then I need to be add a first node. So adding a first node by creating the object of a node class node, I'm giving a name as a first, and this is the object of a node class. Now in a node class we have a three member variable. So first I am assigning a data part, first dot data, I am giving a one integer value 10. Then this is the one single node we have right now in a linked list. So first dot next is equal to null, and first dot previous is also need to be giving a null value, because this is the one single node we have created yet. So in a single node you do not having a previous node and you do not having a next node. So both next and previous part contains the null value. Now I need to be add this first node to my linked list. So for linking first node to the linked list, I need to be write the object of a my linked list. So my list dot head part is equal to first. So this way you have added this first node to the linked list. Now let me add one more node. So add a second node. Same process we need to be follow. Node object node second is equal to new node second dot data part is equal to 20, and then we need to be give a null value to the second next part, because this will be the last node. So second dot next is equal to null, and what we need to be do, we need to be link this node also with the linked list. So we already have a one node in our linked list, so we need to be link this second node with the first node only, so that will automatically linking a second node to the linked list. So linking a second node with the first node. So for that, first I need to be stored a previous part. I need to be stored a address of a first node in a previous part of a second node, and then second that for that second dot previous is equal to first, and also I need to be stored a address of a second node in a next part of a first node. So this way we have linked second node with the first node. Okay, our the implementation part of a linked list as well as a node is completed. Now how to see the data of a linked list which you have created. So for that I'm creating one display method in a linked list class. So public void, you can give whatever name you want to give. I am using a display. Okay, so for displaying, first we need to be create a temporary node. So node temp is equal to new node so that we can trace till the last node of a linked list. So temp is a one node which I have created to use it temporarily. So temp is equal to this dot head. So this way we located a temporary node on a first position of a linked list. Now I need to be checked that whether I am having a node in my linked list or it is empty. So for that, if temp not equal to null, then console dot write line, this way I am printing one message that data of my list, else my linked list is empty. So else console dot write line linked list is empty. Done. Now what if my linked list is not empty? So for that, printing all node data, I am putting a while condition here. So while temp is not equal to null, till that we reach to the last node, we need to be trace all the node data. So while temp is not equal to null, then printing a data console dot write method I am using here, and in a write method I am printing a data temp dot data plus I am putting one space to differentiate between the data of each node, and to print it more properly, so console dot write line, so that each node is having a one space or one line in between. So this way I have created one display method to display all the data of a linked list. So what is the name of my linked list? My list, and then display function which I have called. In console application, to hold the output screen, you need to be write down a console.read key method, so that I have written in the last line of a main function. Okay, let me run this console application. Okay, also we need to be giving a next part or in a temp node also, that we can moving to the next node. So that line of code we need to be write. Okay, so data of a my list, that is 10 and 20. So we get the output because we have created only two nodes. That is, first is having a 10 and second is having a 20. Okay, so this is all about the implementation part of a doubly linked list. Now, what are the advantages of using a doubly linked list? That part is remaining. So advantages of using a doubly linked list is that it allows you in a traverse in a both the direction. So they allow for the efficient traversal in either of the direction, can be used in a various algorithms. Additionally, a doubly linked list are more memory efficient as compared to the singly linked list. They also allow for efficient instruction and the deletion of a node, as well as efficient searching of a data. As we have discussed that we have an option of going backward also. So for searching, you can use this backward advantage over the singly linked list also. So finally, a doubly linked list are relatively easy to implement in a C sharp. That's why it making it as a more popular choice for the data structure. Now, what are the disadvantages of a doubly linked list? That the main disadvantage of doubly linked list, they required a more memory as compared to singly linked list. Additionally, they are more complex to implement as compared to the singly linked list. Finally, a doubly linked list are more prone to the errors and can be difficult to debug. So for this reason, a doubly linked list are not always a best choice for the data structure. So this is all about a doubly linked list in a C sharp. I hope you have understand the complete session.